back to Life in Isolation, and I am joined by Pauline Juma, the founder of Rebirth of a Queen. Now, Pauline, I was going through my Instagram and I came across your page. It's quite interesting. What got my attention is the way you've been distributing food and also some of the amazing things that you're doing. Kindly tell me about Rebirth of a Queen.
Thank you so much. So Rebirth of a Queen is an initiative that is aiming to empower, to shelter, and to mentor a teenage survivor of sexual and domestic violence. So we run a shelter for teenagers. That is our main project. But during the COVID-19 pandemic, we've been distributing food in Kibra and Kawangware just to support vulnerable family and street boys in Kawangware, just as a way of spreading hope and just giving people hope to pull through this pandemic. And also some of the food that we get, we distribute, we give it to our shelter so that we can be able to support our girls in the shelter and also just mentor them and give them hope. They're not in school, they are going through traumas, so they just needed a safe space just to be there and feel hopeful. Yeah.
And how many people do you provide food for in a day? Do you do it daily or it's weekly?
So we distribute food on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That is a team called Gawa. We partner with a team called Gawa, where we distribute food to street boys and to families in Kibera. And on Tuesday, we distribute mbogas to 100 family. That is 100 family in Kibera, a village called Mashimoni. So we give them sukuma wiki cabbage and spinach to 100 people, and part of the remaining bogas goes to our shelter.
Do these survivors, the teen survivors, do they live in the shelter or they just come and hang out during the day and then go back to their homes, or how is it done?
They live in the shelter. It's now a home for them. We currently have 9 survivors who are living in the shelter, and these are survivors of different issues, from defilement to domestic violence and child abuse, because they are teenagers and children. So they live there, and it's going to be a long term because we have to work with them through their healing journey and empowerment. I really want to bring out strong women and strong girls from the shelter. That is why we'll just have to stay with them for a long time. Yeah.
How do you manage to sustain the shelter?
The shelter, at the moment, we are sustaining our shelter with fundraising. And our well-wishers. We have very wonderful people who are supporting us here in Kenya and even outside Kenya. People who have to make sure the shelter has food, the shelter's rent is paid. But in future, we are coming up with sustainable programs like farming, mat making, as a way of keeping the shelter sustainable, and also as a way of empowering this survivor, because after healing, you need something to do with your life, or even in your healing process, you need something to do in your life, and you need to create yourself a space that makes you feel empowered and keep going. So in the next 1 year, probably, we might be having our own land. So that means we'll not be paying rent. We'll be having our own building, so that we can also be able to reach out to more teenage survivors. And we'll be doing a lot of farming and a lot of just small businesses to keep the shelter sustainable.
And they're between what ages, these teenagers? And do they, I know that the schools are closed right now. Do they have any kind of education? Do they go to school?
At the moment, our shelter is now 3 months. So we just started a shelter in the middle of the pandemic. Wow. And all of them are going on with education. Those in school are going through online education. And also when the schools are open, we have a plan for them to go back to school and for them to just be empowered. We have those out of school. Our youngest is 8 years and our oldest is 21 years. And yeah, we'll have a baby coming soon. So in the next 2 months, we'll have our little one who will be maybe 1 day old. Yeah.
Born in the shelter. Wow, amazing. What drove you to do this, Pauline?
Actually, Rebirth of a Queen is a personal journey. Being a survivor who was defiled when I was a teenager and went through domestic violence when I was a teenager, I have felt for a very long time teenagers need to be heard and teenagers need to be given a platform to rise. And basically the shelter is there to give a safe space for survivors, because the most painful thing in life is to live around your perpetrators. We know very well in Kenya, it's really rare for a survivor to get justice. So Rebirth of a Queen is here to give a survivor justice through healing. We might have lost it on the court, but the most important person here is the survivor to heal and the survivor to be empowered. That is why the Rebirth of a Queen shelter is here.
Amazing, Pauline. Before I let you go, do you have any parting shots that you want to say?
Parting shot. There is a quote I really love, and I just want to keep it out there because we are in the middle of the pandemic, and we are in the middle of a lot of anxiety. So I just want to tell anyone who's watching this that the beauty of life is not how strong we are, but where we get the strength when the world crashes on us. So as Kenyans, let's keep smiling. As the world, let's keep smiling. We are going to get over this pandemic, but let's make sure we are getting out of this with love. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Pauline Juma there, the founder of Rebirth of a Queen. She shelters, mentors, empowers, and works with survivors of sexual and domestic violence. Asante sana, Pauline. Have a good one.